Hi guys. So as you said, my name is Molly Hartfield. Thank you so much for having me here today. When I was asked to speak, I always remembered when other speakers would come to my classes, and I always felt like, that will never be me. I can never relate to these people. And so I hope if there's anything you take from my presentation and the Q&A is, if I can do it, you can do it, trust me. I started this company, Heart & Co. It started in 2017. We are primarily a home organizing, and now we do interior decorating. Let's see. How am I going to get to the next one? No, it's not doing. Oh, there we go. Okay. So just a little about what we're going to talk about. I want to introduce myself. I want to talk a little bit about my business, where I started, where it is now 5 years later, and then some tips I would have for you guys if any of you are looking to be entrepreneurs or even work for small businesses. So as I mentioned, Heart & Co. is a luxury organizing company. We help people reevaluate, reorganize, and refresh their spaces. So there really isn't a space in anyone's home we don't organize. We do closets, kitchens, offices, garages, storage spaces, bathrooms. We really don't say no to anything in this business. And since then, we have done a lot of interior decorating work. As we would do a closet, we realized someone needed a new dresser, or we would do a kitchen and we realized someone needed a built-in pantry. So we also do interior decorating, we build out spaces, we work with contractors, movers, interior decorators also, you name it. So the main things that we focus on, a lot of our clients will just have us come in and do what they say is one space in their home. So we will start with, let's say, a kitchen. We love to say that part of our business is once we get in there, we know we're going to end up doing their whole entire home. So there's a lot of job security in this business. I don't know if you guys are organized, but once you kind of get to that point of getting to a project and you finish it, you're like, well, now I need to do the next one. So that's kind of what our clients do weekly. And then we do a lot of moving, packing, and unpacking. So as that is something that I think they say people move every 4 years. Another job security that we realize that people will always be moving, and the clientele that we work for never wants to move themselves. So we got lucky with that one too. And then the interior decorating aspect, we started within the last year. So I just saw an opportunity that the clientele we work with really wants a one-stop shop. So we'd get in there, we'd unpack them, we'd organize them, but then they didn't want to work with anyone else. They didn't want to find another interior decorator. They didn't want to find contractors on their own, people to pick up their trash. So we kind of became a center outlet for those families in becoming a one-stop shop to getting settled into your new or current homes. So as I mentioned, I graduated from Plymouth in 2014. Don't do the math. I'm a little scared myself. I also grew up in Florida, in Nantucket, and I always tell this story because looking back 10 years later, it really resonates with me. But growing up in Nantucket, everyone that I was friends with was going to St. Lawrence and Harvard and Trinity, and I would always be like, oh, I'm going to Plymouth State. And of course they'd follow with, oh, in Massachusetts? I'm like, no, in New Hampshire. And for some reason back then, it was something that I wanted to go to an Ivy League school. I was like, why didn't I go to one of those? And looking back 10 years later, this is exactly where I should have gone. It doesn't matter if you go to an Ivy League school. No one really even asks you sometimes where you go to college, but it matters what you take from school. The classes that I took, I'm so glad I didn't take them anywhere else because this is what has got me in my career up to this point. So it's just like a fun fact that I'm so glad I went to Plymouth State, and I wish back then I said it more proud, because a lot of my friends that went to those schools, I am here, they are still doing their sales jobs that they don't enjoy. So just something to think about as you're progressing. You all go to a wonderful school, and I could not have enjoyed it more, probably a little too much at times. So in 2015, right after graduating, worked for the Johnson & Johnson family. I was a full-time nanny, personal assistant for them. It was in New Jersey, so I kind of moved somewhere that I knew no one, but I knew it was a great opportunity and, more importantly, a great connection that I was going to take through my life. So literally, like the first month of being there, I got a house, a car, there was private jets, helicopters would pick me up in my lawn, and I remember my dad being like, don't get used to this life, like this is not your life. And I was like, too late, I'm already used to this life, I literally love this. And so as I stayed with them for about 2 years, I learned so much business-wise from them and realized that I needed to figure out something I could do to create a life similar to what I was living with these families. So I then moved to Boston. I had nannied for a few Bruins families there, which again, same lifestyle. I was like, I need to figure out how to get there without being a hockey player. So I launched Heart & Co. in actually 2017. It started as a nanny agency. Working for these families, I became a center outlet for anyone looking for any childcare. And so I loved that for the first month because I thought I had this genius business plan that I would just charge a placement fee. I had a great friend. I knew she'd be a good nanny and all was great until one nanny was late and then it was all my fault. And being so type A, that didn't work great for me. So I always was thinking of ways that I could pivot and not only be a placement agency. So in 2019, I would go back to many families that I worked for and reorganize their pantries, their kids' closets, which was something that I did while I babysat for them or while the kids were napping. And one of the families was like, you should open an organizing branch to your business and just see how it goes. I was like, wait, this is great. That's kind of what I like to do more. So within a month, the organizing side blew up. I remember there was one day that I was very sad that I was pivoting my business. I felt like a failure. I wasn't going to be a nanny agency anymore, and I wasn't sure if the organizing side would even succeed. And 5 years later, and 3 locations later, that was the best decision I had ever made. So in 2022, we opened our Nantucket location. I always knew that I would accept clients there because that's really where all of my hometown connections were. And obviously a lot of money and a lot of clients and a lot of people that want to spend money and don't want to do their work themselves. So we knew that that would be our next location. And then this year in September, I moved to New York City. I've been there for 2 months now, and we now have our 3rd location, which is crazy, and it's going great. We have full-time employees there now. We still have our Boston branch. Callie in the back is our head of operations and marketing. So she runs both branches as well as the Nantucket one, which tends to be more seasonal. So just we wanted to give you guys an idea. Again, even making this PowerPoint, I shock myself. I'm like, how am I talking to my school and how did I get here? But we have been in business for 5 years. We have 4 full-time employees and 3 part-time employees. Our full-time employees have benefits, a 401k, they're all salaried, and we have 3 branches. The girls always joke that right when I move or open another one, they're like, where's she gonna go next? Which obviously I'm already thinking of that. And then for clients, we have about 400, if not even closer to 500 clients that, again, like we said, are repeat clients. So we do say we implement systems that are easy to maintain, but especially our clients with children, every space will get ruined eventually. We can thank them. And so we do always go back to either our busy clients, ones with families, again, having great job security there. And then at the end of this year, we are projected to invoice just from our services over $1 million, which is crazy. But those 3 branches we knew would be our core companies that we think will kind of go from where our clients are otherwise. So maybe the Hamptons, something like Florida. So we just kind of followed those initial clients to all their other homes. Okay, so these were some things that I really wanted to tell you guys, give you tips on, and I think that really helped me in my career. I think that diving into thinking about what you really want to do career-wise is super important. My dad is a golf pro and was on Nantucket for 35 years and in Florida, and he always told me, pick a career that you love going to work every day. I'm like, you are a golf pro. I think every man's dream job is to play golf every day until I found this one. And I always joke that I would do this job for free. I absolutely love it. I did it for free for years for my friends. So you have to go to work every single day for years and years and years. If you don't enjoy doing what you love, it's going to be tough. And I think that because I love what I do so much, it has gotten me to 3 branches and to just keep going every day, always thinking of the next move. Another great tip would be connecting with your professors, advisors, or just any mentors you've had. So for me, a lot of those was like the Johnson & Johnson family. Members that were at the golf club in Nantucket were very high profile, people that always will mention to you, like, if you need anything after you graduate, let me know. Let them know. They will help you. They're there to help. And then, leveraging your alumni network. So like myself, I'm always happy to help anyone that has gone to Plymouth State, honestly, anyone that graduates. And jumping into the real world after you're in school can be very scary. So take it from someone that went to the same school as you. They can guide you on the right path. And then we went on to like staying more open-minded. So being willing to learn from other people. Every person has a unique story. I think that as I had people like either come to classes that I was in or that you just meet along the way, those are actually the people that I learned the most from. They're like, oh, what are you doing? What are you looking to do? This is where I started. I think in school I took everything so literal. And you get out of school and you're like, wow, I should really like think about what I like to do and the locations I want to be and the people I want to be around and set myself up for success. And then embracing feedback, being adaptable in your relationships and your goals. When I first started this business, if I had listened to everyone, I probably wouldn't be here. There definitely are people that will set you back. And then there's people that, even my parents being one of them, would give me advice. And I'm like, I know what I'm doing. They're like, you don't. You're too into a business. And so just being open to all of that feedback. Obviously, life is adapting every single day. And so I just feel like taking information you're learning from people that own their own business or have been through this stuff before was really helpful to me. Surround yourself with people who inspire you. This was a huge one for me. And I feel like is what got me to where I am in my career, being around all these wealthy, high-profile people, some better than others, but a lot of them they inspired me. Like, I couldn't believe that they got to where they were. And every day I saw them, like the Johnson & Johnson mom, she wrote a book, and then she was like the head of, or a ranked, what do you call them, horse people. And every day I'm like, how does she do this and then that and then raise her kids? And I just think that always surrounding yourself with not only people like that, but your friends, that kind of gets you to where you are. I feel like there's always a time, honestly, maybe even when I was in school, you go down a path that you're like, this isn't really where I saw my life going, or I know there's more out there for me. They always say that you are the most reflected on the 3 best friends you have. So that's really important, to be surrounded by like-minded people. So being open to conversations, we kind of discussed that, using your connections, leveraging social media. So this has been a big one for us in marketing, in making connections and in hiring. So obviously, as this world has totally gone towards social media, we post all of our hirings through our Instagram, on LinkedIn. We'll connect with other small businesses that maybe they had a candidate that was wonderful, but it wasn't a good fit for their business. So I feel like social media has really brought our business to the next level, which I'll talk about in a few slides after this. So innovation and entrepreneurship. This was a lot of things that I feel like I used when starting a business. So my first advice is just start. I think that looking back 5 years later, I'm always laughing. I'm like, how did I get here? But one day I just decided I was going to do it. I knew nothing about accounting or how to run a business or how to hire people. I just knew I was really good at organizing, and I was just going to keep pushing forward, asking the right questions, and getting there one step at a time. So there's no secret I have that people are like, but how'd you do it? I'm like, I don't know. I just kept moving. Every day you do something different that gets you closer to your goals. So look for gaps in the market. Being around these wealthier families, I always was like, okay, what would they pay people for? What do they not want to do? What do they delegate to other people? A lot of that was just personal assistant stuff, moving, organizing, unpacking, you name it. So when I had my organizing business, when I had my nanny agency, I pivoted to all the families that I worked for and said, maybe you don't need a full-time nanny. Let me get in your house. Let me organize some things, your spaces, and that will give you more time back with your families. So it was just something that I realized a lot of people needed. And I think that if you're looking to be an entrepreneur or where to start, that's a good one. What's missing? What do people always pay for? And kind of what is not a trending thing, but something that will last long term. So collaborating and network, partnering with individuals. So how we kind of do our social media, and we'll share some people that we've worked for, but we pitch them, whether it's email, Instagram, whether we're connected to them through other people we've worked with, and we gift our services. So either, depending on the client, up to 6 hours, a full space, a few days, in exchange for social media recognition. So that is really what has grown my brand, has grown our social media following, and from there has given us views of, some of our people have like 3 million followers. And then clients flood in after that. And whether it's they want to use us that day and they're like, we've been looking for you for months, or they're moving in a year, we kind of just stick in their heads. And that has probably been like the number one way that we do our marketing and our continual growth. The other would probably be just referrals. We always say that we like to get in, we're like, let us just get in there, do one space. We know we'll change your life, and then you can refer us to someone else. So referrals, and I would say the social media is probably our biggest forms of marketing. Another big one is being open to learning, adapting, and failure is part of the innovation process. So I think one of my biggest things in year 1 and 2 was I was so afraid to fail. Also being extremely type A in this industry, I took failure in the beginning as I can't do this anymore. I don't even know why I'm trying. Where looking back, all of those failures made me better, made me more successful, made me realize that I can open my 3rd branch even better and faster than I did the other 2. And you're going to fail a million times. Almost every day in the first few years, I was like, I don't even know why I started this. I feel like I can't win. And they're not failures. They're learning lessons. You'll learn from everything in business, and you will become a better business owner or entrepreneur the next day. Be resilient. That is definitely probably my best quality. There will be people that will tell you you won't succeed. There will be people that don't want you to succeed, and there'll be setbacks. There's always, like COVID, for example. I was lucky because everyone was home during COVID, so it was an industry that people let us come in their house. They were looking at their stuff all the time, and we're like, I can't live my life like this. But it was definitely a setback. We had to adjust how we organized, who we sent to the houses, if we could only have 1 person or 2. There wasn't a Container Store open. We used Container Store for everything. So you just need to kind of roll with the punches. There's always going to be something that comes up, and you just got to keep pushing forward. And then stay passionate about your ideas. Enthusiasm can inspire others. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come here today is I am so passionate about what I do. I honestly can't believe I found a career that I love so much. School was never my thing, which I admire all of you that you got back into school so fast, because that could never be me. But then again, I didn't think I could be a CEO of a company, so you never know. But it does inspire all my friends around me. I feel like I am always the friend that people go to talk about entrepreneurial things or staying on track with your life. People will be like, oh, but you have this. I'm like, I'll tell you the recipe to get there. You just have to keep pushing forward, keep your vision in mind. And I think that's like the recipe to success, if I were to say. Okay, that's kind of all on that. So these are a few of the people that we've recently worked for. I don't know if you guys know Bravo people or any of these. Do you guys know any of these people? Am I that old? Okay. So Bethany Frankel, she is on like the Housewives of New York. I don't know if you guys know like Skinny Margarita or Skinny Girl. She started that whole company, and again has like 3.5 million followers. So that was probably, to me, one of the coolest people I've worked for, because I absolutely love her. Hannah Berner has a podcast, has a Netflix series or show that she just let out, and is a comedian. Joey, I don't know if you guys are Barstool fans, also a podcast. And then Alex Hall, again, on a Netflix show. So these are a few of the people that we did that marketing I had mentioned. We sent them an email, we sent them a DM, and when they reach back out to us, Callie and I like spend a few hours freaking out that we can't believe we're talking to them, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna do this. Let's schedule our first phone call. So that's a really another exciting part of my business, is I do get to work with really cool people, and the fact that they've helped me grow my business is also pretty cool. And that's kind of it. I feel like I love a Q&A, and I would love to answer questions specifically that you have for me. Another thing, like I was saying, I am so relatable to all of you, and so I hope that I can give you the answers you're looking for.